Hi everyone, Ross Korzybski with The Wellness Way. We're excited because we're just days away from our first webinar series that we will be hosting this summer. This topic on May 16th at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time will be infertility. Take a moment and watch this video from this heartfelt delivery of a young woman who for many years in her relationship with her husband struggled to be able to bring that one thing into the world that so many people desperately long for, and that is a child. Listen now.
Hi, I am Patty Britzke, and I am here to share my story with you about how I ended up at the Wellness Way. It was always a dream of mine to have a child, many children. I've always wanted children from a very young age. So after I had gotten married, we shortly after started. But after months of trying, there was nothing, and then there was miscarriage after miscarriage after miscarriage. So we sought out the help of our doctor, who did some testing and some blood work and all this stuff and couldn't figure anything out. So then they sent us to another doctor. So we went to that doctor, and then they did more testing, and then they said I needed this surgery, so I did that surgery. And then we tried after that surgery and still nothing. And then just more miscarriages. So then they referred us to another doctor, who then said we needed this surgery. So then we did the next surgery, and still nothing. So after they had tried everything, they then sent us to an IVF doctor to try that, because they said that would be our only chance of having a child. So after weighing the options and seeing what we could do, and then talking to insurance, and then insurance told us it's not a necessity of life to have a child, so we had to, out of our pocket, pay for the $25,000 that it took for the first round of IVF. It wasn't easy, but we wanted this more than anything, so we did whatever we had to come up with that money, and then we did the IVF. And we did it the first round, and it stuck, but then at our 2 appointments later, at our 9-week ultrasound, they told us there was no heartbeat. And it was devastating, it was heartbreaking, because I thought finally this was our chance and it was gonna work, but it didn't. And we took a little time to ourselves to see what we really wanted to do, and we still wanted to have a child, so we just took a little time off, and then somehow we got pregnant on our own without no medical help. So we thought, wow, this was it. You know, after going through all that, we were going to finally have a child. And I didn't want to go to the doctors right away, because it always ended in miscarriage. So I was just kind of, I guess, waiting for that to happen. But it never did. So at 14 weeks, we went to the doctor, and everything was going good. And then just some fluke thing, nobody knows why, but I ended up having a stillborn little boy at 20 weeks, and everything was normal. They couldn't tell us what was wrong or what caused it. So that was another heartbreaking, devastating blow that we thought we would, never recover from, but we did. And then after all that, we said we still wanted a child. We weren't ready to give up yet. So we tried another round of IVF. And again, it worked, but at the 9-week ultrasound, they told us there is no heartbeat. And it was devastating, depressing, heartbreaking, because, we thought this was going to work, because we were doing the right things. We were, eating healthy, and, we were exercising, doing the right things that anybody should be doing, and it still was not working. So after that, we took a little time just to ourselves to figure out what we would do, and then we went back to the doctor, and, we asked him what we should do, and he said he met with his team of doctors that get together once a week, and they reviewed my history and my case, and then they called us and told us if we wanted to have a child, we either need to look into adoption or we need to find a surrogate for our remaining embryos. And we did look into that, but we just weren't happy with that. We wanted a child of our own. I wanted to be pregnant. I wanted to have all those things that everybody else was complaining about, the stretch marks, the morning sickness, weight gain. People take that for granted, but that's something that I wanted more than anything, was to have all those miserable things that everybody talks about. So doing some research online, we came across the Wellness Way, and we thought, well, we tried everything else, we got to give this one last thing a try. So we went for it, and we tried. We made an appointment, and we were kind of leery because everybody else in the medical field has told us there was nothing they could do. We had to go to adoption. But we made an appointment, we called, and luckily we got in the very next day because there happened to be a cancellation right before I had called. So we made our appointment and met with Dr. Flynn, and took a couple months, but we got some testing done, and we did more testing, and then when we got the results from those tests back, I found out a lot of the foods that I was eating every day that I thought were healthy and good for me were actually causing more harm than good. So it was really hard at first doing all that testing, because I found out everything I ate on a daily basis that I love to eat was bad for me. And I remember almost crying in the grocery store because I wanted to buy everything that I always was buying, but I couldn't anymore. So after a few months of going on my new diet plan and eliminating those foods, like, my body did miraculous things that I just by changing those foods, I was losing weight, I was getting more energy, I just was like a new person, like a brand new person. So after doing that and a few detoxes later, for a couple weeks I was feeling not well, and I just thought nothing of it, because they always told me I'd never be pregnant, and we joked about, well, what if I'm actually pregnant? But we're like, oh, they said that would never happen. So after 2 weeks of this, I finally was like, well, for the hell of it, I'm just gonna get a test, and I did. And then there was 2 pink lines, and it told me I was pregnant, and I couldn't believe it. I remember calling my husband and being just ecstatic and excited about it. And then the second phone call I made was to Dr. Flynn, and I remember, telling him, I don't know how this happened, but I took a pregnancy test and it told me I was pregnant. And I remember, him joking about, oh, you want me to tell you that, you want me to explain this all to you? And I was, I knew how it happened. It was unbelievable. It was exciting, overjoyed, because before that, I remember texting Flynn, why can't I get pregnant? Being just so depressed and just wanting this more than anything, and trying everything and doing what the, medical doctors were telling me to do, and nothing happened. And then finally, just by changing foods I was eating and simple things in my life like that, I ended up being pregnant with Joshua, and here he is today. So I just want to let everybody out there, any women, or if you know of anybody else that is struggling with infertility or needs help and, is getting nowhere, to find a Wellness Way and go see one of the doctors, because they do amazing work and you will be happy with your results.
Sign up today by clicking on the link below to join us for our free webinar May 16th, 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. You won't want to miss this awesome webinar. It's free for you to bring you awesome information in regards to how the Wellness Way approaches dealing with infertility in today's society. We hope to see you there.